How did the popular asshole of your school get a taste of their own medicine? Middle school, when the bell rang to change classes, the hallways were a horrific traffic jam. Everyone suffered through trying to get to their lockers and the next class on time. Enter the arsehole popular guy, who thought it was funny to sneak up behind some unsuspecting student who's at his locker and smack the back of the student's head, causing the student to bang his head into his locker. Arsehole guy got several warnings to stop, but he didn't. He thought it was so funny. Then one day he picked on the wrong student. Arsehole guy got punched square in the face, fell down and lost a tooth. Not a single person, from teacher to student, came to his defense. When arsehole's parents came to the school all upset, everyone told them their son got what he deserved. He got kicked in the nuts 5 times in a row by the same kid. Star quarterback tried to pay his girlfriend. She was a Golden Glove boxer. She put him in the hospital for a week. This might be over the line, but he got cancer. Don't kill the messenger. Man. That's just how the world played out. My teacher. She loved to use humiliation against me. I was severely depressed at the time and she thought I was a slacker. I'm a little person. And she would get me to turn off the lights for the projector, or to write on the whiteboard, only to feign ignorance and apologize when I struggled to reach. One day she crossed the line, and I went to the deputy head teacher. He decided to reprimand her during a lesson, in front of her entire class, to give her a taste of humiliation. 2. Star athlete picked on the fat kids in gym. Fast forward a couple decades. He's fat and bald. Saw him using a Walmart scooter recently, buying crap food. One of the kids he picked on got in shape, stayed that way and became a top-tier endurance athlete. So sweet. Edit. I was neither the bully nor the, now, endurance athlete. That would very Twilight Zone-ish. The teacher wouldn't let one guy in my classroom to go to the restroom to pee, so he peed on an Arizona can. When the bell rang, the guy started heading to the restroom to empty the can and the biggest bully of the school bumped into him. Took the can and, of course, sipped it. He soon realized it didn't taste like tea. It was glorious. He copied my exams for English, math, and science in our junior year. Except he didn't know that I purposely put the wrong answers for 80% of the questions and then redid the exam after he turned his in. He failed all 3 classes miserably, and when he confronted me to see if I failed too, I just shrugged and said we must have had different versions of the exam. She got knocked up in grade 12. I never had any problems with her personally, but she was a major bitch to a lot of people. Karma, I guess. Popular asshole, for some reason picked on me a lot, hated me, and he got 4 people beat the shit out of me. Next day my brother, 3 years older than me, a 6'5" giant freak of nature, in one punch knocked him out. Best day of my. There was this guy in my high school named Toby who was a massive douche but also popular due to being on the basketball team. Loved to pick fights and play rough. Toby bit off more than he could chew when he elbowed this one classmate named Andy during playing a friendly game. After taking the hit, Andy just straight up decked Toby in the face, knocking him out and making lose 3 of his front teeth and a swollen lip. Toby learned his lesson and stopped being an asshole after that. Band was pretty popular where I lived. I mean, there were super popular kids in band. They had a lot of hazing. I don't know their pecking order, but if someone senior to you told you to do something band related, you had to do it. There was this one chick who was the second senior person in the whole band. She was always shitting on everyone every single day. One day, that one girl who was senior to her called her out and made her march all over the school in front of everyone and made her sing a bunch of chants and more. I wasn't even in band and it still seemed harsh to me. Band was popular. He paid a girl and lost his scholarship as well as a way too short prison sentence. Is a single jobless single parent. It's said THST the mother left him after the kid was eating solids. I feel sorry for the kid. Never bullied me but apparently was a giant arsehole to everybody. Star football running back. Had multiple scholarships to Division I. Then he broke his leg and all the offers evaporated. Went to a you.I school. Had a couple kids. Got divorced. Then posted all of his old scholarships to Facebook at age 40. Really sad to see. Literally argued with every single person on the reunion Facebook group. Everyone told him how much they always hated him. He's now literally insane. Posts 30-40 times a day on Facebook of foreign Instagram models with long diatribes about love and life translated into 10 different languages. Posts nearly nude shots of himself also. Most hyping himself up. A dark spiral. A popular girl bullied me all through middle school. Then in high school she sat next to me the day we were given one of those read the directions tests. She was not so wise as to read the directions. I got to sit there for 10 sweet minutes watching her panic more and more over the ridiculous tasks the test asked of her. She was 2 years older than me and gave me hell. Soaking my sleeping bag in nail polish remover during summer camp. Bullying during the school year. The whole 9 yard. She only stopped when she had to change school because she was expelled for f***ing a student in the school bathroom. Out of curiosity. I did a checkup on her not too long ago and turns out she's a drug addict who's in and out of rehab with 3 kids, different dads, and she still lives with her deadbeat parents. He went bald at 24. Ironically, dozens of other classmates started going bald in their early 30s. He made a Facebook post that said, "For those finally going bald. Some of us went bald years ago and have already made it through the grieving process. Good luck." I thought it was actually funny and perhaps losing his hair so early may have humbled him. Am I in the minority to think that there was no popular arsehole in my high school? There were popular kids but they were pretty chill. There were arseholes who wanted to be popular but no one liked them. I guess the most popular guy from my high school, who was a cool dude. They now sell drugs and went to court for beating up a 12-year-old for not paying you a cute $15 for 1 gram of weed. They also told me to suck my mom for not letting them borrow my earphones in lesson before and then called me a F-ot, so that's nice. Hope they enjoy getting stabbed over a small amount of green plant. So in junior high there was a kid, we'll call him Mark, and he would always pick on another kid, Steve, in gym. Mark would do things like spray him with Axe or slap the back of his head. One day Steve was carrying a book and Mark tried to take it, but I guess Steve had been practicing Aikido or something, cause one moment Mark's hand is on the book and by extension Steve's hand, and the next Mark is laying on his back and Steve is calmly walking away. Boss move. He was the most attractive boy in the school. Girls would literally fight to be his girlfriend. Then, like Prince William, his free trial of hair and premium face expired and he got downgraded. Mostly anyone that thought they were hot and could monopolize. I grew up in rural AK. I can only imagine they were in for a big surprise when they moved to civilization. I remember the people I thought were hot growing up. And now that I've lived in a city for years. Cringe. I always wondered about this small town hotness phenomenon. They went to a great school. Married at 10. Got a high paying job that requires no effort. Jokes on them. The popular kids all stayed hot and married each other. But I imagine that having the exact same relationship and social circle since the age of 14 probably has a certain Groundhog Day element to it. She, white, called my friend the N-word. My friend. This real skinny girl who was one of those kids who never ever had gotten in trouble. Decked her square in the jaw and gladly took the out of school suspension. Same girl started feeling woozy during a blood drive I was volunteering at and I helped her over to one of those giant trash barrels to throw up in. She bent over and lost consciousness and fell into the trash. Literally. This kid used to taunt me every day at school and for the longest time I took the abuse. One day he pushed me too far. I think he started talking shitty about my mother, and I pushed him to the ground and beat him in front of everyone. He ended up with a bloody nose and some bruises. Dude never said another word to me. A guy really had an immortality complex. He thought he could and did get away with anything. We're talking seriously f***ed up shit here. Then one day he decided to brag about showing PRN to his young sister. Even worse, he said this in a Discord server that a lot of people were in. Long story short, someone called Child Protective Services. And he had a very bad day. No details on how. But she blew a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity at a major TV network. A year later she said some pretty Islamophobic shit about presenters wearing hijabs on TV. Can't find a single thing about her since then, meaning she must be unemployable in that field. But her Wikipedia page has been edited to say she's 2 years younger than she actually is. And lied about where she grew up. So she must still be trying to hustle for something. There were two. They had a falling out one day and the I wonder who could kick whose ass mentality of that school was initiated. They fought. Chased. Fought again. Chased again and eventually begged the teachers to be allowed to finish the fight because of how angry they were over the damage they had done to each other. I guess asshole number 1 wanted to finish it in one punch because he had swung so hard he broke asshole number 2's front tooth in half. The angle it had broke left it sharp like a dagger and that part of the tooth had caught the skin on number 1's knuckle during the punch. The tooth dragged all the way down number 1's forearm during the swing and literally unzipped the skin like Arnold Schwarzenegger trying to show his mechanical arm in Terminator 2. I graduated from school before I saw them again, but I made sure they had new nicknames. Number 1 was Scar and the other was named Whistler. I heard they left the school voluntarily shortly after. He drove me home from the pub in a cab one night. Best night ever. This happened to my adult son, S, in early high school. Popular bully, PB, started picking on him not long after S was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. Maybe because got S attention and trips to the nurse's office? Who the hell knows? Anyway, PB would smack his books out of his arms. Trip him. Try to grab his backpack off. Etc. I had no idea. However, at that time, S's blood sugar levels were skyrocketing. I had to take him to his endocrinologist twice. Even change his medication. Once he mentioned PB was bullying him. It all clicked. The bullying had him so stressed he couldn't control his blood sugar. When the bullying stopped, he stabilized again. Fast forward to shortly before graduation. PB, now adult age of 18, was busted for child PRN molestation. I don't have all the details. He was immediately expelled. In court. Convicted. And didn't graduate. Ha. FCK that little monster. Big football star got his ass kicked by a bunch of cowboys for mouthing off one too many times. Then went to college to play ball there. Then got into drugs and was an arsehole to his team. Bounced around a couple NFL teams as a quarterback after that and sucked. Then went to jail a couple of times for theft related to his prescription drug problem. His name is now famous for screwing up. You can probably guess his name. He thought he was all so cool during gym class. Climbing the basketball hoop and sitting on it. While our teacher kept telling him to come down. And then he got stuck. Didn't know how to get down. And our teacher made us all sit down and stare at him. No one was allowed to talk as this dude awkwardly tried to find a way down until he half climbed. Half fell in the middle of this dead silent gym. 20 years later. Oh boy do I have a list. They were all bullies too. One asshole accidentally shot his brother in the head. The brother miraculously ended up surviving. But the guilt of shooting his brother haunted him and he ended up committing suicide a few months later. One ended up getting 25 years in prison at age 25 for child pornography. He was a boys baseball coach and went after some boys from the team by posing as a girl online to get photos from them. Absolutely disgusting. Last one. I was parked next to him and he rammed his back driver's door and driver's door into my car while I was sitting in it. I was a shy unpopular girl so I was too afraid to call him out. He is now divorced and an estranged father. He cheated on his wife throughout her pregnancy and after. She kept the house and he doesn't see his kid anymore. He has nothing now. Phew. Varsity basketball, volleyball and softball player. Member of the school's NHS leadership. In contention for valedictorian. Got an underage DUI. Kicked off all 3 teams. Out of NHS and couldn't keep her grades up. He thought he was Wesley Snipes and walked around grabbing girls and acting untouchable. He was on the rugby team and though he was tougher than steel. Cue my friend. Dan the quiet kid. Discount blade shoves what was meant to be an easy target. Dan breaks the bully's knee backwards and smashes his face into the pavement. While Mr. Tausch T is still face down. Dan then steps on the back of the knee. Straightening it out. No more rugby. No more random gropes. No more bullying. Damn Daniel. There was this one dude who dislocated my sister's shoulder during a PE class. He died of cancer as an adult. How did you pull that one off? After a day of teasing me, I slammed him into the wall and screamed shut the FCK up. I got a week of ice. He got a week of regular suspension. Most of my bullies left me alone after that. And the next year he tried to act like we were buddy. The biggest bully in high school always picked on me. I always just let it go. I sometimes fought back but then his gang of friends would jump in and push me back. The very last day of senior year as we're walking out to our cars after graduation. He said, "Hey man, I'm sorry for being such a jerk." I just went wide-eyed shaking my head laughing and was like, "Are you freaking kidding me?" He went on to become a cop. I'm still waiting for his time that karma repays him for my 6 years of hell. He went on to become a cop after all this? Sounds like he's probably doing something shady under the table now. In junior high, this one popular kid had a habit of stealing things from my backpack. Spreading humiliating rumors about me. Did his best to make sure I would have no friends. Vandalized my bike multiple times. And is likely responsible for why I am physically disabled. He would get other students to join in on all of this. I got smart and gathered enough evidence of the harassment. And he ended up getting to be followed around the school every day by a teacher's aide for the entire last half of grade 9. He lost almost all of his following when this happened. He later ended up on the front page of the city newspaper wanted for drug-related crimes. They didn't. Turns out that movies don't play out like real life. I graduated high school in 1997. By the time things like Facebook came out, I didn't give a shit about anyone I went to high school with. Aha. I got one. Finally. There was this huge bully when I was in high school and I was kinda fat, yeah, no. Not hiding it. Anyway. 7 years later. 5 years of military forces. 2 tours in Afghanistan. I go back home and my brother invite me to a poker game. Of course I go and guess who's at the F-King table. That damn bully. Not sure he remember me cause I kinda change a lot, yeah, no. Capital P. Anyway. During the game. We talk about what we've been doing. I tell him I just bought a house. Did 2 tours doing good and he goes, "Well, after school I started working in a furniture shop but it closed and now I'm unemployed." I know it's means to revel in other people's misfortune but goddamn I could only think. FCK him at that moment. He shot himself 2 years later. He got beat up by a girl. I mean she really kicked the shit out of him while he tried to actually fight back. He was a racist asshole and it was a black girl. He transferred to a different school 2 weeks later. He got beat up by the new special needs kid. By me doing my current events report which ruined the star athlete's future. My school had rules saying if you got caught with drugs you couldn't play sports. One of the popular jocks got arrested but since he was the star football player the school just kind of looked the other way and nothing happened. My social studies teacher would have current event days where everybody would have to bring in an article from a newspaper or magazine and talk about it in class. Buried super deep in the local section of the paper was a little one-paragraph article about a drug bust that listed the names of everyone who got arrested, which included the jock. Yeah. I used that article for current events topic. His teammates in that class were less than happy with me. Not only that, but the school started talking about my little stunt, which meant the coaches and administration couldn't just ignore his arrest anymore, and he got kicked off the team. Not on the team anymore. Colleges that were offering scholarships start asking questions and eventually pull those offers. Oops. Guess the guy shouldn't have been such an ass to me over the years.